video that follows up on the manual resistance bicep work we did. We're trying to get some high intensity work in to get some volume on the bicep so it acts as a sort of a hydraulic pressure that helps us lift in the bench press. So on this exercise, just have a seat and just put your arm at 90 degrees. Now the bicep's job is to bring this up this way. That's what it does. So hold it at 90 degrees and flex that bicep really hard. Really super hard. As hard as you can do it. Stop. Now if the bicep contracts and it brings the arm this way, why didn't you hit yourself in the head?
Tricep.
Yeah, exactly. You as hard as she was flexing here with her bicep to pull this hand up this way, she was equally working her tricep to push it the opposite way. So now let's just do a few where you create that tension on both sides and you let the tricep win and the arm straightens. And then you reverse it and let the bicep win. You're going to fight on either side of the joint. Flex it in all the way up. Now flex that the tricep just as hard, only a little bit harder than the bicep, and fight yourself open and pull it all the way open. Fight it with the bicep, fight it. Now pull it with the bicep and fight it with the tricep. Hard, hard, hard. And that's enough. That's the idea. So every joint has muscles on both sides of it so we can move both ways. And so they're called an agonist and an antagonist. It antagonizes the motion of the agonist. So when you're trying to do a curl, the bicep becomes the agonist and the tricep the antagonist. But when you're trying to do a press down, their roles reverse. They switch. The tricep becomes the agonist and the bicep becomes the antagonist. By creating this pressure, you can take almost any weight and make it harder. So grab the bar there, just with the empty bar, and do a couple curls and show everybody how light it is for you. And just do a few curls. Now on this third rep, just a little bit, slow yourself down with your triceps. Just a little bit, not maximally, just slow yourself down. And there's a lot more pressure there, right? Now when you get to the top, flex those biceps under your chin, and now open that arm by pushing your fists away from you with your triceps. But the biceps are what we're after here. You feel how that works? And so let's do a set. You can rest right now for a second. So what we're after here is making the body work harder than it has to by co-contracting the opposite muscle group. Normally when we want to make a maximal contraction on one side, the body automatically helps us and sends an inhibitory signal to the triceps and says, relax, because I really need to pull hard with the biceps. I don't want any drag from you. I don't want you slowing me down any by being a little bit tense. But we're gonna override that inhibitory signal, and we're gonna flex the biceps hard, but then we're also gonna send a signal to the triceps to say, hey, not so fast. Let's slow it down a little. Let's make it extra hard. And we can do this with any weight. And I like to do it with some weight, because if you do it all by yourself, it's hard to tire yourself out. But for demonstration purposes, so normally we put about 50 to 100 pounds on here, and she would get some of the reps, and then as she got more and more tired, then she would actually make it even harder to get to those reps where they're almost impossible, and she just barely lets herself do them. So I like to do them with more weight than this, but you can do them with just the bar or just your hands. She was doing it just fine. You were getting plenty of work, weren't you? But it feels good, and it feels more natural and normal, especially if you've been lifting weights for years, to have some weight in your hands. So let's just put the bar in our hands for now. And I want you to do 3 reps, and I'll help you through it. Now this would be the same as if I were to do the manual resistance. I can also provide that resistance for her. You pull up against me and I resist you. But now her triceps are totally relaxed. So she has to do my work now for herself with her own triceps. So I'm out of the equation, but she's still resisting the biceps she's still sort of manually resistant, only it's self-resistance. So all the way straight. Now, begin to flex the biceps, but hold it straight with those triceps. Fight yourself. You can't go easy on yourself with this, or else you're just lifting an empty bar. And that's not going to make anybody strong. You've got to create just as much force as if there was 100 pounds on there. You've got to make 100 pounds, and that's not hard to do with the triceps. Push down with the 100 pounds, and then those biceps have to work with the 100 pounds. Now, pull up with the biceps with 110 pounds, and resist with 109 pounds on the triceps. Make it hard on yourself. Do one more. Now 112 pounds on the triceps, pushing down, fighting with 110 on the biceps. Push hard. Push those triceps down. Push it down, and fight it. And it's a balancing act. You can rest. That's enough. That gets the point across, I think. You can make maximal tension here. Well, almost maximal. It'd have to be an isometric if it was maximal. But you can get huge amounts, high amounts of tension, again, all the way through the motion. You can't do that with the weight. The weight's at its maximum tension at the sticking point when you're just using free weight. It's kind of easy in some spots and hardest at one point. This is hard the whole time. This trains the full range of the motion of the bicep and of course the tricep too. Now we could turn this around easily enough right where she is and make it a tricep exercise. If now, instead of thinking about how the bicep contracts and then gets pulled open by the tricep, if we thought about the bicep being stretched and extending and being resisted by the bicep, and then the bicep pulling the tricep open and then the tricep closing, this could be a tricep exercise. But I'd like to do the triceps on like a press down exercise, where it seems more natural and normal to think about the tricep on that exercise. But it doesn't matter. The body doesn't know. The body doesn't know that you're not doing, a weight. It doesn't know that you have a sack of potatoes that you're lifting or pails of water. It doesn't know what you're lifting. It just knows tension. And if you make a ton of tension on the other side of the joint with the tricep, that bicep will grow. And that's the name of the game here, because we want growth here. But it'll also create strength. The caveat, though, as I said in the other video, is you don't see the numbers going up. You work your ass off for 5 or 6 reps, and then you come back and do it again and again and again, and you can't see that 5 more pounds, 5 more pounds, 5 more pounds. So it's hard to be motivated to do a lot of these. But these are an excellent challenge to your trainees or your kids or yourself to see how hard you can make yourself push. It's not a good repeated training device. It's nice every once in a while to get a little extra maximal work. And it's really good for the mind, because you gotta be on point. Because if you're not working yourself hard, even if you're moving slow, I'm not flexing at all, and I'm moving real slow, and I'm not doing any work. But I could be working really hard and move at the same pace, so it's not about speed. It's not about what you see on the outside. It's about what somebody feels on the inside. And I don't know of too many ways to work harder than this. There are a few, and we'll get to them. But there's another tool for your toolbox on training biceps. And you can do this with a lot of